there's wins that you look back on and I think help define a program. This is one of them. And I don't want to make a lot. We have a great deal of respect for Boise and Coach Harsin. I want to say thanks to our fans and students. You know, I remember 2 years ago I had BV take a iPhone picture, and I mean, pretty bleak. And I had somebody take a picture at the end there, and it's neat to see our student body and people in the state rally around. A lot of great plays out there today and a great effort. We knew coming in it was going to be a close ball game. It was going to be a play or two here or there. You know, quite frankly, I was a little bit concerned when we didn't get in on the 4th and 1. They went down all the way and scored a touchdown, a 99-yard drive. But I think what it does show is a resolve and a belief with our players and each other and what the coaches are telling them to do. A lot of hard work went into this one, and it was number 6. So at this time, I'll open it up to questions.
Craig, what changed defense? I mean, you're down by 14, I think, 2 different times in this game. So you mentioned resolve and belief, certainly, but anything schematically, what really kind of changed to where it got you back in it?
I think, we did a couple things that are different. Obviously, you know, our next opponent will see some things on tape. But the other thing, too, was, we started to, get a couple stops in the running game. It created some long yardages, and we were able to get some pressure. The one pick before half by Rico was a huge play, and that was a change up there. And then coming out in the second half, I thought our defensive coach did some good adjusting, and it was kind of, it flipped. I mean, in the first half, it was like no one wanted to play defense. And then in the second half, both teams were coming up with stops, and we were getting slowed down. Some of our power rushing game was getting shut down, and but I thought, we made some plays. Obviously, the 2-point play was huge, and the play before that was huge as well. And we've been working on the hands team. I mean, I can tell you what, we spent a great deal of time working on that, and that proved to be a wise decision. We came up with the recovery.
Coach, huge night from Jacob Hollister. Was there just kind of a great matchup there for him, or what was he able to do tonight? Just all night.
Well, we felt like, he's been underutilized. That sounds, we don't think we've utilized him as well as what we could have, and tonight we did. And sometimes you go through and you're looking at, I was a defensive coordinator, you look at breakdowns where the ball is going, and he hadn't been used very much, and he certainly was a weapon today. And I thought Josh did a nice job getting the ball to him.
I thought, Chase Appleby, that the play at CSU and then obviously forcing the fumble tonight, he's maybe the smallest interior defensive lineman, but he keeps making plays and continues to show how important he is to this team.
His heart is as big as the state of Wyoming, and he'll probably say he's from Texas, but I'm going to switch that around a little bit for him. He adds a great deal, and for him to be out there all game certainly had a big impact on our defensive front.
Coach, especially in that second half, it just seemed like Ryan Hill, he'd get hit behind the line, but he'd still power forward for a couple of yards for a first down. On third downs, Josh Allen would come through with a big pass. Will you just talk about your team's will to win in this game?
Well, that's the resolve of belief. And, we had put up some signs when we first got here through the locker room and in the IPF. Basically, those who stay will be champions. And some of the guys are no longer here, and those guys that have been bought in, it's encouraging, and that's beginning to spread. And the never say die attitude. And Brian's, we've got some ultra competitive guys, and that's what you're seeing tonight.
Coach, you saw the scene out there. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, then I want you to take it from there. College football has returned to Laramie tonight.
Well, I'd like to think it has. That was one of our goals, to return Cowboy football back to national prominence. I don't know if we're nationally prominent, but we beat a good football team that was ranked pretty high, and it was great to see that scene. I was with Tim Harkins, and he turned and he said, "Look, Coach, look," because I was coming off the field, and it's hard. I mean, it's touching to see what has happened, and it's been a collective effort. I want to say thanks to Tom Berman and for providing us the resources to get our program where it's at, and then our coaches and players to be all bought in. And I know it's going to give you guys something to write and talk about.
Coach, you talk about Josh's arm a lot, but the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, when you see those throws that he makes on the run like that, and across his body and back over the middle, what do you think whenever you see?
Well, first thing, I cringe. You know, I think, you know, my favorite pro football team a long time ago was the Minnesota Vikings, and Brett Favre did one of those and didn't work out so well. But Josh, a lot of the plays are extended, and a lot of them, you know, he's creating them with his legs and his arms, and he's an ultra competitive guy. I don't want to say pushes an envelope, but he has a great deal of confidence in his skill set, and you want that in a quarterback. And tonight, you know, he came up big with those plays.
Craig, how'd you think of how Jolly did at his first game at tackle? I know you'll look at film. It's
Well, we'll look at film, but I can tell you this: there was a big cheer for Brink down there. I mean, it went through the whole room after the game. Everybody was excited about Brink, and he had big shoes to fill. And you know, they're a really good defensive front, and I thought he did a great job tonight.
Coach, you're no stranger to big wins over the course of your career. I don't want to put you on the spot too much,
I
but
won't.
how does this rank up there?
Well, it's way near the top, and a lot of it has to do with just where we were at when we first got here. We weren't going to take shortcuts. I know that maybe some, you know, people on the outside wondered what the heck's going on, but you know, it's rewarding, and yeah, you're right. There's several big wins, but this one's going to go down to this one here is a really special one.
Coach, you talked about not taking the shortcuts. And I mean, I'm not around this program every week, but is that a big reason why you think this team has become so successful?
Without question.
Blue collar.
Yeah, without question. You know, it's hard to define, but there's a vision that we have. There's a process that we have, and we believe in that process. And when some people, you know, would question that, I think what it did, it brought this football team, the coaches, closer together. And you know, this formula works, and it's not anything I learned it from Coach Osborne, and there's just a lot of things that go into it. But if you have the plan, if you work the plan works, and that's what we're doing.
Coach, on a personal level, I mean, is it kind of gratifying to see the model start to work that worked in the FCS level up here?
Yeah, well, it is, and you knew that those days were coming, but some of our local people will tell you there were some pretty dry days, and I'd have to come in and put a smile on my face and stay at it. And you know, to say we've turned the corner, I think we made big strides. You know, we've got a lot of season left, but this was a huge one because they're a really good football team. They're really well coached, and they've got good players, and they deserve to be nationally ranked. And I know we got one vote last week. Hopefully, we get a couple more votes this week.
Craig, did you ever have a sense of how your team will play heading into a game? And on top of that, did you have any kind of a sense before the game how the team might perform this evening?
Yeah, we did. You know, I talked to our players. I said, hey, Boise State's got really good players. And I told our guys, guess what? We got good players too. And what you find is when you get in games like this, these are really enjoyable games. But what's got to occur is to transition from, okay, we're a pretty good team. Maybe some people on the outside don't think we're ready for this. Maybe some guys don't know if we're in this position. But when you have a guy like Josh Allen or Brian Hill or Andrew Wingard, those guys, I don't care if it's tiddlywinks, they're about to win. And so, you know, to say I felt coming in like, oh, for sure we're going to win, but I knew we were going to have a heck of a shot. I know probably on the outside a lot of people were saying, well, they don't have much of a chance. I knew we were going to match up well, and I knew our guys were going to play well. And you know, we certainly could have played better, but I thought we played well.
Coach, down by 4 going into halftime. What was your halftime message to your
Well, you know, we talked that we were in the middle of the game. We talked to our defensive guys. I got a little bit frustrated on the long drive, you know. But I had to recognize that Boise has really good players, and so they're going to make some plays. We talked about encouraging our guys, making sure they're fundamentally in the right spot to play with some poise and composure, that we're going to come up with some plays. And I thought our coaches did a good job with the adjustments, and our players, you know, they bounced back, and we flipped it around.
Coach Cooper had a career long with 40 and then the 39er as well, and ended up winning by 2. Just how huge is it to have?
That was huge, you know, for a freshman to come out and be consistent. We've spent a lot of time working on kicking, but that's still you can work on it out there on air, and you can videotape, and you can do some things in team, but until you're out there in this situation, those points were huge.
Correct.
And I thought on the other side too, Ethan Wood did a great job punting tonight. They were playing on a long field. I thought he was spot on.
Craig, obviously it was an emotional day early in the day to break ground on this new facility here, and how you know how important that is, and then to cap it off with this. This is, no, it's probably been a trying day, an exhausting day, but this has almost been like a storybook ending type day, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has, and I got a little bit emotional during that presentation, but I'm not going to apologize for that because of a lot of the people who are vested in Cowboy football and Cowboy athletics. A lot of things on the agenda, but in the back, you knew that everything was pointing to this ball game, and so it was great to see us come up with a win.